French President Macron last week reaffirmed that he would not rule out sending Western troops to Ukraine, and he warned of the risks Russia poses to European security and other countries near its border. What they're doing, by the way, with NATO and everything is, I suspect that because Russia is trying to work with some of the other countries to break away from the world banking system, which is run out of Europe and the U.S. and run by that banking consortium.
Yeah, that needs to be addressed.
That they're Hitlerifying him. They're turning him into the enemy.
Well,
to the point where we're to this point here.
Yes, absolutely correct. But listen, if he nukes, if he detonates a nuke, he becomes the enemy.
That's true.
Now, I don't give a shit about Ukraine. I don't give a shit about Russia.
We shouldn't be.
The women in Ukraine and Russia are hot, but I don't want to see them die. But other than that, I don't give a shit about those two countries. I really don't.
Russian women just kill you.
Yeah.
There is that.
And Macron might not be around much longer anyway, because apparently they had to dissolve their parliament because loss of confidence from the public. So they're going to hold a snap election and see who gets to run the show. So we'll see what happens, because I think it'll be totally legit.
Yeah, of course. Like our elections that are coming up in August and it's in November.
Yeah, of course.
Should be
totally
fine.
Fair.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
Yeah. And the known suspects and whatnot are going around smashing things and harassing people, looting, robbing, beating people.
Is this happening in France right now?
In France,
yes. To that point in the U.S. just yet.
That is in France. Apparently, there's the European Antiquifas are doing Antiquifa things and all that fun stuff. So,
I'm waiting for people in those countries to start getting killy. I'm waiting for them to realize that there's no longer any reason for us to hold back. It's time to go to town, because I think that's coming.
Yeah.
I think that's coming. I think people have been pushed far enough.
Well, once you take away the food, water, and shelter, people are going to get pissed.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
And you have all of those people who are saved up to retire for decades, and all that money will disappear when they crash the economy. They're going to be mighty pissed off.
One of the other things is our generation now, in our early 50s to early 60s. A lot of us are in charge of things, and we remember how good things were, and now we see how bad things are.
Yep.
That might be enough in some cases to go, you know what? Why are we suffering through this when we had it so good, when all we have to do is remove these people here?
Correct. That will at some point will happen. Historically speaking, when you have tyrants running the show, at some point they get ousted.
Yes. Yeah, that is actually a third factor in the urban cleansing thing that I forgot to consider. Because where did that happen with tremendous effect, where it accidentally got out of control and got le Rwandan avec fromage?
I don't know.
The French Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
The French Revolution, when they overthrew the king and beheaded him.
All right, they didn't just get him and his wife. They went hog wild and executed so many people,
thousands,
to the point they actually had to execute the guy who was in charge of executing everyone because he wouldn't stop.
I forget his name. I keep wanting to say Rochambeau, and that's wrong.
But he wouldn't stop.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, we're going to have to kill you.
Yes.
And they gave him the guillotine treatment.
Yes. And that was
best we can do is kill you.
What's that?
Best we can do is kill you.
Best we can do is kill you. That was thousands and thousands of people in France, and that is a brilliant example of just how quickly a city can fall apart. They had a revolution. They overthrew the king. Yay! Off with his head. Yay! Off with her head, and off with your head, and your head, and your head, and her head.
It went on for almost 2 years.
Right? It went on for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
And it got really crazy and really terrifying, and the city was under control of this one guy whose name I can't remember, and the only word that comes into my mind is Rochambeau.
Uh-huh.
they eventually, like Pop said, had to kill that guy too. So that's a third way that your urban environment can go bad, is if you go after those corrupt politicians and give them the guillotine, and the wrong guy is in charge of doing that. Next thing you know,
well, the mob is basically stupid. When you have mobs,
yes,
there's no intelligence there. It's
Yes.
all emotional responses,
yes,
and bad shit happens.
yes,
That's what mobs do.
and it's infectious too.
Yes.
People get out of hand. A good example of that is soccer hooligans. It's a soccer game. It's a soccer game, and they'll kill people at these soccer games for voting for the wrong team and wearing the wrong scarf.
Or one of your rugby jerseys,
Yeah.
which I like to wear.
They will absolutely hospitalize you or kill you over a soccer match. And that's a brilliant example of how crowds can just lose their minds. Now, add to that corrupt politicians, a couple of machetes, and a guillotine.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
And a nuclear warhead.
It would be great. We promise.
We're so fucked.
It's such a bad day.
Dude, man, you want to talk about getting butt fucked in the dick hole. Fuck. And, I mean, this is just absolute lunacy right here. I shouldn't say I never saw this coming, because I felt it coming. I had visions in regards to my entire life. But I didn't think it'd be a World War III situation. I would thought it'd be like a Civil War situation. And it's going to probably be both.
Both.
At the same time.
I'm thinking we're going to be seeing both. What is baffling me is how consistently nobody has stepped up to really do anything about this.
I know.
Nobody has stepped up to really do anything about this, and it baffles the hell out of me. It's like the Bolsheviks have infinite supporters, infinite donors, infinite amounts of money, infinite judges, infinite lawyers, and the side of the people who just want to be left alone to tend their damn chickens, we can't find anything.
And, well, here's the thing. The minute the people who want to be left alone decide, fuck it, and they become incredibly dangerous. I'm sorry.
That's the point where you have to hope that it's not a Rochambeau from the French Revolution.
Yes.
Because if somebody like that really goes, if 20 of you guys, if 20 retired green beanies went all the way overboard, full Colonel Kurtz, Apocalypse Now.
Yep.
Locally, there wouldn't be very much that could stop a group like that in a civilian environment, not on a battlefield, like here.
Well, here's the thing. You have 20 guys with that kind of training. They're not going to operate just as 20 guys. They're going to actually raise a company or a battalion of other guys and train those people.
Now you got a warlord.
Well, I know, but I mean, that's what Green Berets are designed to do.
Yes.
To destroy
Yes.
and bring down other countries.
Yes.
And that's I mean, millions of dollars are expended in every single Green Beret to accomplish that mission, the FID mission, and then you have the direct action missions.
Direct action is a relatively small portion.
Correct.
Of the
That's CAG.
Set.
That's CAG that does most of that stuff.
The thing that he's talking about, the force multiplier, is pretty cool. I've seen some of the training. I never went through any of that myself, but I worked with the Green Beanies, and they'll go and train 10 guys to train 10 guys each. Well, now you have 110 guys. Now a group of those guys will train another 110 guys. Now you have 220 guys.
Yep.
And so on and so forth. That's what they do. That's their whole mission. So if you turned loose a herd of angry Green Beret veterans and they started multiplying their forces, they're going to control that area, period, until you can field a real governmental force that can do anything at all to stop them, unless they turn out to be the good guys and reconstitute the government.
Well, if you could train a battalion-sized element to the level of an airborne ranger, battalion. All right. Now, I've heard this said many times in many different briefings from various officers in my career in regards to airborne rangers.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a foreign country or you're a dictator-in-chief of another country and you're so unfortunate as to wake up one day and have a battalion of airborne rangers in your backyard, you're going to have to be willing to draw a red line through an entire division, because that is what it will take to wipe them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very fucking
You better
expensive.
have heavy air capability.
Yes.
Yeah, you better have some heavy lift air capability, because they're going to shoot through everything in sight. One of the Hollywood misunderstandings is that the Green Berets are the primary direct action force. You see that in the movies all the time. It's the Rangers. The way that it was explained to me when I was in was, if you want to take beaches and hold land, you call the Marines. If you want to push inland and hold land, you call the U.S. Infantry. If you want to take a hold of land that's already inside occupied land, you send the airborne. If you want everything killed, you send the Ranger.
Yeah.
If you want everybody on that land to fight for you, you send the Green Berets. And if you want just one motherfucker killed, you send CAG.
Yeah. And CAG only really, well, I shouldn't say only, they mostly do operations inside an objective that is surrounded and guarded by airborne rangers.
They like their corners.
Yes.
Yeah, they like their chalk corners.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Like the whole Ranger Somalia debacle, that was a CAG, which is Delta Force hit.
Yep.
And the Rangers were outer cordon, and then they were so arrogant they didn't just have a third or fourth plan to get people out. And
they didn't complete their pace.
Yeah, they did not. They only had a primary and alternate plan. They had no contingency or emergency plan.
That's correct.
That's why they took so many fucking casualties.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.